Hello and welcome to another demonstration. So as part of the SAA's 30th anniversary celebrations, I've been doing a series of 30-minute painting in acrylic, in watercolour. This is drawing, oils, just to show you that you can have, sometimes you don't find time to do painting or drawing. This is something have been obsessed with, drawing eyes. And I have 6 eyes in front of me, so I don't know which one I'm going to do. And it's all down to the roll of a dice. Here we go. Don't know what number's going to come out. 6. Which number's 6? No, 2, 5, 1, 6. So this is, I think it's a lizard. Let's put that there. All I've done is photographed and I've just cropped it. Sometimes it gets a bit blurry, but it doesn't matter because I can get the idea. Okay, so this is going to be a 30-minute drawing. I'm going to start the timer using a pen, so I can't rub out and I'm not going to be fluffing. Eyes, usually just start with a circle. Oh no, there's more lines than I need. It doesn't matter because I can alter it with a pen. Just let's look at the shape. The eye comes over here, goes down there. There's a bit of a bump there. So the eyelids come over the eye and come round like that. I can still change that shape a little bit. Just looking at features, so the iris is quite big. Again, a circle. Okay, that looks fine. I can possibly need to close the eye a little bit more, but I'm just going to pick up some of the detail and work my way around because this is a lizard. I can't remember what it is, but I'm sure it's my own image, which, like I say, I've cropped. I can see the detail of the eyelid here. It goes round. And you can see that's now covering those initial lines. It comes a bit of a crease in the eye here. And that comes round. Not quite straight there. And down. Again. Be a bit more careful with the making it round. But it's definitely got some white parts in it, so I think this is actually quite dark, so I can block that in quite a lot. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move out from this. It's a doodle. I've got 30 minutes. I don't want to completely block. I want to be a little bit more sketchy, so it's darken around the outside. You do have to look at the iris because on some animals they're different. On this lizard, they are round. But I know on goats and horses they're kind of a long shape, and cats obviously in the light they have the slit. But funnily enough, the bigger cats, like the leopard, has a round pupil. Just looking at where it's dark. I can see there's a dark line, and I'm going to just come out with my lines like this. Come back in this way. There's definitely a darker line here, so let's touching there. Much lighter at the bottom here, much darker across. That comes down here. I'm just using a crosshatch technique just to fill in. I think like the eye isn't just solid, it has more broken patterns in it. Quite dark, closer to the iris, the pupil, sorry. This is the iris, the bit I'm doing, the colour. Much darker there, so let's take that darker and put some of those interesting shapes. Darker at the bottom here and there. Don't have to just do lines, you can do dots. I can also still correct and make that a little bit more round. So now I can, it's quite nice this because it's already got lots of nice texture which I can bring out onto the eyelid that's got quite big. Actually get bigger, not necessarily round, so it goes up here. So just looking at the marks that I can see, shapes. And they don't have to be totally precise because you're the only one who's got the original. It's not a case of you're trying to do a precise portrait. What you're doing is, I'm having fun with the eye shapes. Right. So that's quite big around here, so let's bring that round. It's quite a big shape there. And it's quite dark under there, and we have a fold. I don't think reptiles have wrinkles, so I'm going to call that a fold. Again, some lovely shapes. Much darker under here, so let's just put a layer of dark cross-hatching technique. I can still add shape underneath that. It doesn't mean it's finished. I just want to describe, which is exactly what we're doing, describing what we can see. So over the eye, let me have a look. We've got the eyelid, which is quite dark. Do that shape. Then it has some creases there. Again, I think it's got some mix between small and large. I'm not sure these are scales, but smaller there. Just come round. So 20 minutes of that is 10 minutes. And I possibly could have brought this down a little bit more. But let's take this. So I need to make sure that's darker under here. I can't see, but it's definitely quite, because of the way the light has hit the eye and how I've cropped it, you can't really see the patterning. But I will work on that to my advantage by making it quite light. I can go to the artist, you can change the light and dark on it. You can see there, that's covering that initial shape of the eye. I don't think these are overly the same shape, which is really nice. I can have a little bit of fun with the details of this. Let's see if I can bring that shape, like a little bit of, so it's not smooth over the eye. Does indent into the shape of these scales. I'm calling them scales, I don't think they are. Let's make this darker and bigger. Okay, let's move that a little bit. Now I'm not going to pick out every single one, I'm just going to catch along here. Definitely let's bring some dark onto this eyelid there. Now this gets darker. The thing with this is there's a lot of scales, but like I say, they're not all the same shape, so I can have a little bit more fun. What I'm doing is I'm just looking at the direction, because they do seem to go around, and as they go out they get bigger. So this is another fold of the eye that comes round. Again, I still think this needs to be a little bit bigger. This is a bit more darker there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pick out these shapes of this scales under the eye and strengthen just there. Just looking at where I need more value. Definitely can darken under here. Like I say, I can't see the scales, but I would assume that they're there. So let's just suggest them. It's not just a smooth, it looks like it's also picking up shape. So let's make Okay, so that's still dark under there. Needs to darken there. I think this is darker than it is at this side, so let's just put some, so that's 15 minutes I've got still. I'm going to get quite a lot of this done. Shape. Probably could spend a little more time looking. I think that's not. Right. I think there is also shape there. Got that in, and I can see it comes round as well. There's a couple there. I think it comes round here, so these are quite long. Then it gets smaller. I can still see the shape, and that's because the eye is actually protruding, so it kind of recedes. So I'm going to have to try and suggest this receding. Let's make that darker. So what I'll do is I'm not going to make these detail, and also they're starting now to get a little bit of colour in them. So this was all quite beige according to the photograph, so keep that light, but now I can start to add a little bit more strength onto these. So all you're doing is you're looking at shape, you're looking at what you're trying to show, i.e. these are getting bigger as they go out. I want the eye to come forward, so I'll probably darken these. So yes, you've got a picture in front of you which is giving me some really nice reference, but I also need to think about what I'm trying to say with that. So, like I say, these I'm getting bigger now, and they actually have some colour. Just put a little bit on there. See that texture? But these ones here don't have the same. It's just as they get back here. So let's just bring out this crease, because again I think it's adding more shape and interest. These are quite so this is now quite light, so gone under there, that's that shadow. Got this crease here, and they're much smaller, so go around. Got some depth under here. Just using that cross hatch to just darken, and I tend to move and curve. So here it's got folds and they are slightly rounded. So I'm using a slightly rounded mark rather than straight lines. So you can see here straight lines. What I'm doing is I'm slightly curving. And that just helps with that dimension that you're looking for. Using a light touch because I can always go back in. These are all much darker now. So I've got kind of a V shape there. Let's just add another fold. I think it makes more interest. That's the eye coming out here. Smaller. Just altering that shape a little bit because it wasn't quite right. I'm also probably going to make some areas a little bit darker than they seem on here. Just so I get a little bit more depth. I'm going to darken into that recess here. Just to remind me that I want those quite dark. I'll bring that round here. So this is a size 4 pen. I will slow myself down by using a really tiny one, but I've thought for this that I can see how far I can go. Again, this is darker. It's just I'm putting the shadow on now, just so I can see where I want it to be darker. But you can see I can still put the scales on through over the darker areas. I'm just trying to create depth. So this definitely needs to be much darker. Can really strengthen these creases. It's not straight, so the scales are definitely getting much bigger now. Here they're much more defined. Got 6 minutes. And I'm quite surprised how far I've got in the 6 minutes. I can darken under there. So let's see what I can do here. Definitely needs to be pushed back, so need to darken it. So let's a lot lighter here. Let's just I think this goes round a little bit more organised in that area. I think so in the next 4 minutes, let me see if I can strengthen some of these areas. Because there's quite a lot of detail, it's quite difficult to be able to leave some areas. What I don't want to do is just do every bit of detail. It's a lot lighter, so let's just do some sketchy marks to suggest in the last 3 minutes. I know I haven't got time now to really do a lot of detail, but let's see what I can do. Really darken under here, that just shows there's a crease. Two minutes. It's quite bigger, much bigger. See if I can bring this into this point here in the last minute. Definitely needs to be darker here. .50 seconds. 15 seconds. It is actually surprising how much you can get done. One down. So a 30-minute sketch, and you can see actually how far you can get. Just start with the eye shape, the circle, and build up from there. Using a permanent pen, so I can't rub out and I don't get a lot of fuss. You literally just have to go with the pen. And I hope you enjoyed that, and join me again soon for another demonstration.